Can this stuff keep my Strat in tune? Let's find out. All right, so I've got a Stratocaster here. This is a Fender made in Mexico player Stratocaster, and I want to be able to use the tremolo because that's why I got a Strat, right? And you do have some options. Tuning is what we're talking about here, and you have some options to keep this thing in tune. One is just to deck the bridge by adding more tension to the claw in the back and or more springs to it. Another, you can leave it floating and just not use the bridge. It's tricky because when you bend strings, sometimes it'll knock things out of tune if you're floating. But I want to be able to float the bridge because I think it improves the sound, and I like the way that the trim feels. And I'd like it to play somewhat in tune, and I don't mean heavy tremolo action like you would need a double locking tremolo for, like a Floyd Rose, but just to be able to shimmy notes and add a little bit of character to chords and things without knocking the guitar out of tune, and also to be able to bend notes without knocking it out of tune. So I'm going to show you now. I've got it in tune. And it's in tune, it sounds good. And I'm gonna show you the individual strings. I've got a TC Electronics tuner here on the headstock. And you're gonna be able to see that each of these strings are more or less in tune. And if I use the tremolo just to go down to add some shimmy to the sound, it'll stay in tune pretty well. Let me demonstrate that. And that's about as much as I want to use a tremolo on a Strat. So let's check the tuning. See, right, perfect. And it'll do that almost every time once you get the strings seated in. These strings have been on this guitar about a week. So they're not old and they're not new. It's been played some. Here are two problems that happen though with the way that it's set up now. So it'll stay in tune as long as I'm doing that. But if I want to bend a string, and let me show you a simple string bend that a lot of people might use on a Strat. And it should have pulled this string flat if it's doing what it's been doing. And you can see it is. The E string has gone flat. See that? Not real flat, but pretty flat. It'll do the same on the other strings too, which I'll demonstrate. But let me show you how to get this back in tune. I'm not actually going to tune the string back up with the tuner. I'm just going to do the same tremolo action I was doing earlier, right? Going down, shimmying the string. Now listen. And we'll see it's back in tune, right? I didn't do anything except for use the tremolo. Same with the B string, right? So the string is in tune. I'm going to bend. You can see how flat that's gone, right? Use the tremolo. B string's back in tune. E string's in tune. Going a little bit sharp on the G. Okay, we brought that back. But as long as I'm just going down with the tremolo and just kind of shimmying the string a little bit, again, the way I'd want to use a Strat tremolo, holds tuning really nicely. If I bend a string, it's an issue, so I can either bend or I can use the tremolo. I can't do both because one knocks the other one out of tune or changes the tune of the other. Here's the other problem. If I try to go up, and I don't have to go up much. Listen to this. Okay, let's see what happened. You can see how sharp the G string is now. And the D, and the A, and the E. But if I depress the tremolo, that should have brought it somewhat back into tune. E, B, G, D, A, E. Never touch the tuners. So, and I have put graphite in the nut slot. It's fairly slippery. I don't think it's sticking in the nut. It could be an issue with this string tree. That could be part of the issue because there's such a severe angle on this vintage style string tree. So we may change that out. And I think it could be catching on these bridge saddles. This is again a traditional 2-point Fender style tremolo with bent saddles, similar to what they put on American guitars. There's really no reason why this shouldn't stay in tune as good as the American guitars. I don't even really have to pull the tremolo up. I'm happy, but I need to be able to bend strings and stay in tune and not do that, right? Back in tune. Anyway, so let's get the strings off of this and get the thing lubricated with this product, restrung, and see what happens. All right, so let's see what we get here. The package, this is fairly small. I'm gonna put this next to my Jeep key to put it in perspective. All right, let's open it up and see. What does this promise? Stop tuning between every song. There's something about their story, some ad copy back here. We'll read that later. Let's open it up. Did watch the official video from the manufacturer. This is or for the first time, this is the MusicNomad Equipment Care Tune It Every String Change system. It's Teflon impregnated. It's supposed to be non-staining. It just doesn't damage the finish. Nothing bad, no, everything good. So here's the product. Comes with 2 of these little applicators, right? So we're going to apply this to the nut, to the bridge saddles, and to the string tree. I'm going to restring and see what happens. Okay, so the manufacturer recommends squeezing a little bit of this out onto like a paper towel or a towel, and just using the applicator to dab a little bit and put it in the slot. So I'm going to do that. I've read where some people complain there are air pockets in this stuff, and you squeeze and a whole bunch of it just sort of goops out at once. So let's see if that happens here. You know, it's interesting, there's a lot of resistance pressing this. Okay, you can see it sort of squirting out here. I don't know if that'll show up on the camera or not, but I have to bring some more light over here to see this. Okay, that's better. It's more or less see what I'm doing now. So I'm going to daub some of this onto the applicator. And a little bit goes a long way. And I'm going to put this in the nut. Okay, let's see how that goes. Now we'll do the bridge. Just going to do the bridge saddles for now. I'm not going to do this 2-point system. I'm going to dollop a little more out here. We're going to do the bridge saddles. I'm going to do the underside of this string tree too. I think it will be easier with it off the guitar. It just takes a second to pull it off. Okay, I'm gonna put this on and we'll be right back. Let's restring it, see how it does. All right, so to give this a fair test, I'm gonna let this sit overnight and I'm gonna play it some, and we'll come back tomorrow after the strings are settled in a little bit and we'll see if it holds tune better. There we go. Good morning. I am back, and I have been testing guitar overnight, last night, and some this morning to see if it's holding tune any better from yesterday. It's not really that it was going out of tune when I was playing it. It's just different techniques on the tremolo would take it out of tune, and the tremolo would bring it back into the tune. I wanted to test to see if this product, the Nomad Tune It Every String Change, to test to see if this would make a difference. And so did it. Let's see. So now these strings have been on the guitar since yesterday. They've been played in some. I played the guitar last night, and it's staying in tune now when I play it, and when I do, if I go down on the tremolo, as I demonstrated yesterday. So what happens now? Well, all right, so if I bend a string, let's see if it stays in tune now. I'm gonna bend the B string. And let's see. We can see it's gone flat, just like yesterday. So let me use the tremolo and see if it brings it back. Back into tune, just like yesterday. All right, so I can tell you I've been testing guitar. That's consistent. That has not changed. Let's try using the tremolo in a up position and see if it makes a difference. Again, we're in tune now, and I just let's test this. So. You can see all the strings are in tune. So let's see what happens. Is it still in tune? No. So what happened? E is in tune. B has gone sharp. G has gone really sharp. D sharp. A is sharp, and E is really sharp. But can we fix it with the tremolo? Yeah, probably. Let's see. So really nothing has changed since yesterday, before I applied the MusicNomad Tune It Every String Change product. So what does that mean? Well, does this product work? Yeah, it does. It does what it's advertised to do. Actually, I had graphite in the nut slot just as a nut lubricant on the synthetic bone nut that these guitars are equipped with, which worked fine. I cleaned all that out with some alcohol, got the nut really clean of the graphite before I applied the Tune It product and applied that to the nut and the other parts as we saw earlier. And it's working just as well, if not better, than the graphite. And I know that the strings are not sticking in the nut because whenever I'm diving the bridge, the tremolo, I can feel them moving right here, right? So they're sliding through the nut and back out every time I do this. And the guitar is coming back into tune perfect. So I know that I'm getting good lubrication of the nut. And I don't think that's where it's sticking, and I don't think that's the reason for the tuning issues. So yeah, I think it's just a nature of the standard vintage style Strat tremolo. Even though this is a 2-point system, it's still what I consider a vintage style tremolo. There's nothing locking on it. And it's a compromise. There are no solutions. There are only trade-offs. I could have better tuning if I played a Telecaster, but I wouldn't have the tremolo, right? I could have better tuning with a double locking Floyd Rose system, but I have to deal with the complexity and the aesthetics of that. This standard Strat tremolo is an elegant solution. It's worked for a lot of people, and there are some compromises that have to be made if we're going to play this and keep it in tune. And the technique that I'm using for bringing the guitar back into tune by just using the tremolo in down position is something that guitar players have used for a long time. This is not something I've figured out or came up with. And it works. I can knock the guitar out of tune by playing and come right back into tune with the tremolo without using the tuners, and it's something you just get used to playing this style guitar. I could probably make an upgrade to the bridge. There's maybe some locking tuners could help. Maybe there's some things you could do, but I don't think it helped that much, and I don't want to do it anyway. I kind of like the guitar as it came, and I like these vintage appointments, and I'm willing to deal with the workarounds. I have other guitars, and you know, there are a lot of guitar players that have played Strats and not been in tune all the time, and that's okay. So what about this product? Well, I think it's fine. I like it. I see all pros except for the cost of this. Obviously, a pencil is cheaper if you're just going to put some graphite in the nut. The problems with using graphite in the nut is, one, it doesn't stick very well, especially if you try to use it on like a bridge saddle or underneath on a string tree, unless you mix it with something like Vaseline, and then you have this black greasy Vaseline mess that really will stain the guitar, and it just kind of migrates everywhere. That to me is not a great solution, but it doesn't cost anything to use the graphite, or at least very little. This product is a little bit more expensive, although not really expensive. And this little tube, even though small, I think will last pretty much forever. It takes a drop the size of a BB to lubricate the whole guitar. In fact, they'd probably do 2 guitars. And I like the fact that it doesn't stain. It's clear. You don't see it in the nut. I don't like to see the black from the graphite on a white nut. So, and it sticks, so you can use it on the bridge saddles, you can use it underneath on a string tree, and it's going to stay where you put it. So I think for what it's advertised to do, it's a fine product. I haven't used any of the other products like this. There's the Big Ben's product. There are, I think, a couple of others. I suspect they're all pretty similar in the way that they work. It's not a miracle product. It's not going to bring this guitar back into tune. It's not going to make up for the deficiencies or characteristics, we'll say, of a vintage style tremolo, but it will lubricate the contact points on the guitar and do everything that it's been advertised to do. So yeah, I'd recommend this product. Again, it's not really very expensive, and it's, I think, a good solution. So yeah, that's what I think, and I hope it's helpful for anybody considering that product. And yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching.